SHINOBI podcast.
Yeah, that was a quick 5 seconds. All right, everyone. Expect the unexpected. Welcome,
Always.
everybody. Another episode of the SHINOBI podcast. King Shinobi's here. Mr. Smooth is across the screen.
Yes, sir.
As you see, we got another one. Got another special guest. We told you guys that we would keep bringing them in, and we're going to keep bringing them in. They're going to come in here, get kind of like a spotlight on themselves, express themselves, and hope you guys enjoy. But without further ado, I would like my guest to introduce himself. Go ahead and tell the people a little bit about yourself.
How you doing, guys? I'm Tom Pecora, owner of Kings of Chaos. It's a fitness apparel company. I'll get a little more in depth than that. I've been a fireman for about 13 years now with Greater Naples. Work with my good friend here. We're excited to be doing this stuff together. We have a lot to talk about, a lot of mutual ideas. Looking forward to reaching out to the people and seeing if they're going to interact back. That's what we're looking for. A little bit about my company. It's a fitness apparel brand, but understand that it's built for a community of people. My point with what I'm doing is to uplift. We've all had our own fair share of struggles. We face different things: PTSD, loss, trauma, depression. What this company is about is uplifting you. Not a soft uplift. It's to help you overcome the excuses, find a discipline in things, find a foundation, whatever that may be. If you're using fitness, whatever point in your life that's going to help you to get past the excuses and start doing the work.
Yes, sir. And those are things that we here at the SHINOBI podcast. Those are things that we represent as well. You know, we believe in an approach that's actually going to challenge you to get better. We're not looking for an easy way out in any way with anything. And we understand the process and the work that it takes to make a vision come to life, you know, and we're willing to do the work. So we definitely represent those same things that you just discussed.
Absolutely.
Now, we also like to kind of check in with one another, you know. We have hectic lives. You know how it is. We definitely do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Mr. Smooth, man, how you been, man? How you been since the last time we came together?
I've been good. I just got over a sinus infection.
I hear that shit too.
So, yeah, like today I woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm finally feeling like a whole lot better than I was. So I was like, let me go get in the pool and just recharge a little bit. So I got to do that and was at peace. So man, I'm feeling great now. Like even though I still got this remnant of it, I'm still good. So
good.
We're gonna get better. We're gonna be better. Gonna be better.
Heal up over there. Heal up over there.
Oh yeah. Got to. Especially.
Me, I've been good, bro. I've been just doing, you know, the handful of things I do, the handful of things that I focus on, and that's my family, working, and my passions, keeping my mind and my spirit and my body right. Like those are like my handful of things that I've chosen to focus on at this point in my life, man. So I've just been doing my best to balance all that out, because I'm really finding that I really equate it to like a juggling act. I feel like I'm juggling a lot of things, but you know, juggling could look very intimidating, trying to, you know, juggle everything. But I really feel at this point I'm getting a better flow. I'm getting a better feel of everything that I'm focusing on juggling, man. So I'm in a good space, and I have no complaints, man. Life is good, and I just feel grateful, man. I'm really at a point where I just have gratitude every fucking moment, and I constantly remind myself of that, man. I'm always kind of on myself to remind myself to be grateful for where I'm at right now, what I have right now, what's being created, and just being happy right here, man. And it's bringing a lot of happiness and a lot of clarity to my life, man. So
definitely,
it's all good, man. And of course, the challenges are there. Of course, they're fucking there. They always waiting behind the corner, man. They pounce on your ass. But
Always.
it's all good, man. Now I just got my eyes open and I'm looking out for them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good, man. I got no complaints over here, man. How about you?
Good. Things are good. Like you said, new challenges for me. This is I'm rebuilding a foundation. Like I said, my business partner and I have taken, a split. I'm now sole proprietor to this organization, so it's kind of like I said, it's a restart for me. So there's a lot of work ahead. There's a lot of challenges ahead, but I look forward to those challenges. Each time we win one of those battles, those wins stack up, and then the momentum begins, and the confidence continues forward. So I'm excited, but there's a lot of work ahead, man. Time to grind.
Oh yeah. And that's another big thing I realized, man. I realized that when I'm reflecting and looking back to like where things started to where they are now, it's like, damn, we've done so much, but then it's like, damn, we still got so much more to do.
A lot to do.
So I'm just like developing an understanding of that, and it's letting me, it's allowing me to enjoy the process instead of like, try to rush it or try to control it or make it into something that is not, you know what I'm saying? I'm just enjoying what it is. The only thing that I feel like I need to do is make sure that, I'm doing my part. I'm doing what I need to do, and then everything else that's revolving around me is going to fall into place if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask, how did Kings of Chaos come about? Like, how did that name come about?
Well, it's funny because, the idea of Kings of Chaos, it sounds like we're out to create chaos, right? But really what the idea behind Kings of Chaos is exactly that. Be a king in your chaos. Whatever your struggles are, master them, right? Don't let them beat you. Look them head on, master them, be the king. Your chaos, your problems, dominate. And one problem at a time, man. And that's what a lot of people will do. They'll get consumed by all their problems, and they'll let it master them. Wrong. Be a king in your situation. Look at what you have to do. Get your problems in order. Start chipping away at them one at a time. Start putting those wins together. So that's really what it's about, man.
Yeah, man. And we
I like that.
Smooth and I, we really spend our lives to actually embody what we feel a true king is. So we really resonate with that. Well, I know I definitely really resonate with that because, yes, there is a lot of chaos going on, and you realize when you do take on the mantle as king that you have to find some kind of way to get this chaos, guided in a certain direction,
right?
And you really have to accept that role, man. I really learned that if you're gonna call yourself that, you really have to accept everything that comes with it, and all of it isn't fucking pretty, bro.
No,
it's not all. It isn't all glorious. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a cakewalk. So as far as kings go, I've always had this attraction to that position, I guess you could say, because I grew up watching a lot. Well, I still do watch a lot of war movies. Like I love ancient war movies, like back when they're using swords and they're fighting on the battlefield and stuff like that. And I always would notice that the king, he wasn't sitting back commanding everyone. He was on the front line with his soldiers behind him. And every time I saw that, I just had so much admiration for it. I'm like, man.
Right. Like I said, when you're the king in your position, you lead from the front. Right? Right? You didn't get where you are because you sat on your ass. You're leading these people. They're your responsibility. And the same thing, man. It flows down to your family, to the world that you guys live in. You're the king of that domain.
Yeah.
Right? You're the forefront of that. You ain't going to sit back and let somebody else do that. Let the peasants do what they're going to do. No. This is your world. This is your chaos. Dominate it. Be the king of that. This is your kingdom. Right? You don't. And that's a good example that you're bringing up as far as you seeing the king out there. He's out there doing the work. He's out there in the middle of that fight.
He's literally putting himself like first person going into danger.
Mhm.
Once we collide, once these two armies collide, he's the first one. Which means which means he cares about his people more than anything. You know? And he's willing to sacrifice himself for that cause. And then I also started to see how people would rally behind someone, you know, with that kind of energy. And it always attracted me, man. And I feel like at this point in my life, I'm in that energy. It's like I'm in it now. And sometimes it's not easy, but I have to realize that this is me.
Right.
You know, people
Definitely.
do follow me. People are inspired by me. It's like I have responsibility whether I like it or not, is pretty much what I'm saying. You know,
100%.
and
how you deal with that responsibility is the reflection from the people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The people teach you a lot about yourself. You know,
They really do.
They reflect all that right back to you. You know,
What would you tell? And there's kings out there that they've got somebody behind them that are like, helping them out along the way, helping guide them and stuff. What do you tell the kings, the guys out there that are like standing solo, and they're like, well, I don't have anybody to talk to, I don't have anybody to turn to. How do they get it going for themselves? You know what I mean?
Well, again, in a position from any man, we all have to understand that we're in this battle alone. Nobody's really responsible for saving me, for doing the work for me, for building a foundation for me. And it's nice if I can meet somebody that's in a position like that needs me to help them. And when I do, and that's kind of what this is about, is people that have the same values, ideas, that are in a position where they've fallen. You know what I'm saying? That life has beat them down to the point where they've retracted and they're not doing the things they know they need to do. This is the point where I'm like, I lift them up. Okay, listen, this is what needs to happen. You need to give them that hard talk. That's when you know you got a real friend, right? Is when they can look you in the face and say, hey, you're fucking up. You need to get these things in order. I'm here to help you, but you need to do the work. This is where we are, right? You know what needs to be done. Stop making excuses. Stop talking. Start working. And that's a big thing for me. Stop talking. Start working. And that means for excuses. That means for if you got goals that you're setting for your life and you talk all the time and you're getting nowhere, you need to start doing the work, right? So again, find that foundation. For me, it's in fitness. It's in training. I go in, I do the hardest thing I'm going to do for the entire day. I get my body and mind connected. I get my blood flowing. I achieve a goal. And then I start moving forward on my day. I start attacking my day. And people have to find whatever rhythm it's going to be for them to get moving.
Yeah, that's totally up to you. You got to find that out. Figure that out. And to piggyback off of him, I'll say a lonely kingdom will get conquered. So you need allies. Yeah. But you need loyal, trustworthy. I'm talking about undying loyalty. I'm talking about loyalty where if I'm getting raided, I hit you up, you sending troops over here to have my back. Those are the kind of allies you need by your side. I would definitely say that's a very that's something very critical that every king needs, is an alliance and a council as well. You need a council. You need people that you can go to. And me, I'm a firm believer in listening to the elders, bro. Like, go to the elders. They've seen a lot more than we've seen. They have a different perspective, so you need that counsel, especially when you feel like you're slipping a little bit. So these are things that you have to create within your world. You have to go out, create alliances. You have to, you have to use your intuition and your judgment to, know who you're aligning with, and we can't always get that right, but you really have to go with your intuition and your gut feeling on that. And you have to align yourself with those that have the same values. We're all different, but if we share these similarities and we can build one another up, now we can share resources instead of us all individually having to fucking break our backs, and be exhausted trying to do things on our own, so you got to get out and find allies, man. Make relationships, that's super important.
Definitely.
You and I had a conversation one time prior to this, and we talked about a brotherhood, right? Talking about how important it is for each one of us to have the brotherhood, a masculine relationship with good friends, right? Strong friends with similar ideals that will pick you up when you need to be picked up, push you when you need to be pushed, and stand next to you when you need to go to war. Okay, those are the people that we need. And then you're speaking right, allies and a council. And we need people that are on the same plane as us or beyond, that have had these experiences, that are willing to give you the honest truth about the next step you need to take. Because sometimes the truth is the hardest part for friends to give. And they're not your friends if they're not willing to tell you to your face, this is what you need to do, because they don't want to hurt your feelings. You got to put your feelings aside.
So, you have anything else on that, Mr. Smooth?
We good. He hit it.
Okay.
He hit it.
All right. Yeah. Let's dive into this. I really want to hear you guys. I want to hear your perspective and your thoughts on this. But I wanted to talk about vision and being a visionary. I see us three as visionaries, as kings, of course. And I would like to know, how can I ask this? For you, what is being a visionary to you? How would you define it for yourself? To give you an example for myself, I would kind of define being a visionary for me as seeing something that doesn't exist in the physical at the present time, but actually having the idea to create it and then taking the steps forward to actually, make what was in your mind into the physical. That's kind of what it is for me. And I'm interested to see what you guys think about that. How you kind of defined vision or being a visionary, Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead and hit him.
For me, like I said, I think the visionary part, you're right. We have something in our mind that we perceive, we want to achieve. We can see it in our forefront. And our goal is to take that vision and start putting it into the physical world around us right away, right? Taking those steps to create that vision. And I agree with you. It's building that vision and step by step. And a visionary too, I said maybe there's something already in this world that we see, that other people are doing. And we're taking that vision and we're amassing it. We're making it bigger, better, changing it, getting that vision out to the rest of the world, that voice to the people that kind of need to hear it.
Kind of like an evolution.
Correct.
Yeah. Because I asked because say this podcast was a vision of Mr. Smooth and I. Now we're doing it. Kings of Chaos, it was in your mind. That shit just started right here.
Right.
And now look at everything you kind of amassed with it. Right. That's why I really wanted to ask. Because, Mr. Smooth, he's getting into more things, as far as apparel and things of that nature. We're both, looking to expand and continue this vision. So
and that's the thing. That's a good point too. This vision is ever evolving, right? Because as I move forward, I see new parts to this vision. There's a change in direction. There's an evolution to what I'm going to bring to the table in the future of that vision.
Hold on a second. I think my mom just came in. I thought I sent her an audience link. I didn't send her a guest link. Mom, I don't know if you can hear me, but
she's trying to put her input in.
Yeah, right. Wait a minute.
I have to call her and be like, Mom, get out of the studio.
What you doing?
That's funny, man. Okay,
I would definitely say, I would definitely say,
All right, we're good.
visionary wise though, you can see it, nobody else sees it. You know, it's it's not it's something that's it's locked up here, and it's locked in the heart, and then you're putting in that work
I like that. It's
for that
locked in the heart.
for it
I like that.
yeah for it to be manifested to come to be in the real world, because you got to make believers out of everybody. So believers don't see it until believers don't believe it and see it until it's actually tangible.
Cheap.
You know what I mean?
That's a
So
great point, bro. Great
Very
point.
yeah, and that's and like you said, like with us on starting the podcast, that was us talking for 2-3 years of how to get it going,
Mhm.
where to really start, and then we were finally like, you know what, F it, let's get it going right here. Let's start where we are. Let's start with what we got right now, and then everything else will just fold in line. And now everybody's like, yo, let me get these stickers. Let me get a sticker. When you guys recording next, like, so it's they don't believe it until they see it. And a visionary's mindset is, I'm gonna make you see it. I'm gonna make you believe it. But let me put this work in to get it for myself first, so you guys can actually finally be a part of it.
It's like having like a foresight.
Yeah.
And I like when you said like seeing it and no one else, because I like to explain this a lot to people that don't allow yourself to give up on your vision, because you're the only one that sees it the way you
Yeah.
see it. I can relay my vision to you guys, as detailed as possible, but I'm the only one that really sees what it really is up here, So with that being said, I would say take advice, but don't allow others to like veer you off of that vision that's right here. You know what I'm saying? That where the core of the vision is.
You gotta be
You know what I'm
careful
saying?
who you tell. You gotta be careful who you tell, your visions to, because you'll have somebody in a heartbeat try to shut you down, and then they'll turn around and try to take that vision from you. So you got, like I said, you gotta be careful with counsel wise. Like, that's where that counsel comes in. Know
People
who
will
you're talking
sabotage.
to.
Right. They will
Yeah.
sabotage you without even realizing they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That the problem, that's funny that you say that. When you have a vision for something and people are they seem like they're being supportive, but they have negative input, they will sabotage you only because of their own lack thereof vision.
Yep.
Right. And like you said, they're not going to believe in you or what you're after, and they're going to put roadblocks up until you've achieved what it is you're after to achieve. So you have to shut that stuff down. That's where the counsel that really matters comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are going to push you to grind. They're actually going to tell you, hey, you're fucking up. You need to be doing the work, and you're not doing the work. That's why this isn't happening.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think why do you think it's hard for people with the vision? Why do you think it's hard for some people to accept the steps and the process of it, and that it's not just gonna be something that you're just gonna just splat out there, out into the world? Do you think it's just the need for something instantly?
Instant gratification is definitely an issue for most people. They don't want to deal with the process, and that's the thing. We all here understand there's a process to this. It's not overnight.
Mm-hmm.
What I envision for what my business will be in the future, that's a lot of steps. And I think what people do is they start thinking about all the things that need to happen to get to where they want to go, and they self-sabotage, and they're not willing to do the work. They're thinking about the time and the money or the investment and how much work it's going to take, and they instantly talk themselves out of it. They bring themselves down. They destroy their motivation. And honestly, motivation needs to be taken out of the picture anyway. This is about discipline. Discipline to reach the goal that you really want, the vision you see. And there's no excuses for it. You got to do the work when you don't want to do the work.
Yes, especially when you don't want to do
Right.
the work.
hmm
That
It's
discipline's a big one, bro.
yeah, it's like he was saying, this they run into one obstacle and it shuts down their whole morale for their whole vision that they had. And you know you get excited even having the idea, and you're like, okay, I can definitely get this going. And then they run into oh, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that, or this isn't possible at this stage. And you're like, well, fuck, let me just stop doing it now because I can't get where I want to go. Um, and like you said, discipline, man, you gotta be able to shut that shit out and be like, all right, let me pull my pants up, find another way around it, and keep it moving. Because you're not gonna have anything if you just give it all up and let somebody else take that from you. You know. Um, so it's yeah, discipline is the hugest thing, and if you believe in yourself, that's the hardest. That's the biggest part too, is believing in yourself and not listening to somebody else, because nobody knows you better than you know you. And
That's right.
if you're gonna let somebody else dictate how you move forward in life, then you might as well just be a follower and a peasant at that point. Because
Sheep.
yeah, because it ain't gonna work for you if you try to take the reins and you're not comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know. Yeah.
You treat your vision like your child. You know what I'm saying? Like, would you just let somebody come and grab your child and take them on the path that they want to go on? You
Tell
know?
you how to raise it.
Yeah, tell you how to raise it. Like, that's the way I look at it, bro. Like, you gotta treat that vision like a child, man. And other people, the community should definitely raise the children and help nurture. But at the end of the day, you have the last say so. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And you can never forget that.
Yep.
All right. Vision. You know what? Can we talk quickly about, we talked about process. So what was some of the key parts of your process to make your vision come to fruition to this point?
Well, again, I needed to make it clear what this was about, right? This vision, what is it about? And still, it's slightly, I think, has been one of the big obstacles that I faced before with my other business partner, was making it clear to the people what Kings of Chaos was. It's not just about fitness apparel. It's not just about training and nutrition, and it's more or less about the community that I'm building, the foundation that we're trying to create, and showing people that, hey, we've experienced what you've experienced. I've been through hard shit. I know you can get through it. That's what this is about. There's a way. Put away the excuses. Get in the circle. Let's do the work. Right? Let's get out of this. Let's get out of this excuse making. Let's do the work.
No doubt.
So that's been the biggest part, was getting the vision out. And then, look, I had to dig deep. I had to find money. I had to start building this product.
Yes,
and
sir.
getting it out there to the people, and supporting groups that were building a foundation similar to mine. Showing that support for the first responders, for the military, for the guys that, that are out there training hard, competing for something, you know what I mean? That gives them a drive to do better in life. Right? So to achieve a goal. So that's where I had to start with mine.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that myself, having to figure out what I wanted, what I was creating to represent. Because I realized, like, this is me I'm putting out there. So it was very important to me, the kind of energy or influence that what I was creating was gonna do for the world. That was very important to me when it came down to choosing, what I wanted to do, how I wanted to represent things, Kind of lost my train of thought. I started thinking about so many things at once. Reel me back in, Mr. Smooth.
It's process wise of like where you got to, like where you got to,
Oh, yeah.
podcast wise, business wise.
Gotcha. See what it is? But yeah, I had to figure out what I wanted to represent, how I wanted to be out in the world. And then I had to, and me and Mr. Smooth, we talk about this a lot. I made a blueprint. I didn't just have it in my head. I mapped this thing out. I'm talking about countless notebooks, countless pieces of paper, countless ideas written, countless goals, actually doing actual blueprints. Like when I was doing the studio, doing blueprints, going through, seeing what works, and that trial and error, like figuring that vision out. Like, don't rush your vision. The fun part is actually figuring this shit out, because once you actually figure it out and then you get something that's complete, you're like, damn, I went through all that, but I went through all that for this. And now I have something wonderful that I can share, with other people.
Appreciate that process.
Yeah, no doubt. So that was a big part of my process, is writing things out. That's something that I live by. I write out everything, because I have so much going on up here. I got to filter it out somewhere, and it really helps me really stay like intimate with my own thoughts to write things out. I really get more of an understanding of myself and what I really want when I'm writing these things out. So that's another thing I would tell you guys, is writing things out. I know the new generation only knows how to use phones, but you remember these things, pens? You remember those guys?
Yeah.
It's gotta be down. I don't forget about it.
Real talk. But yeah, that was a big part of my process, was writing things out, and then in the beginning, really figuring out how I wanted to be represented in the world. That was very important.
I feel that. I'm still like, I'm born in that age of, I know the old school of pen and paper. I know the technology stuff too. So like I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I can make edits to my blueprint. Like I'm not a perfectionist for everybody else, but I'm a perfectionist for myself. So seeing, like, still learning how to write it all out, but part of me still like, okay, let me put it in the back of my mind so I remember that I got to do this, because there's going to be something that's going to trigger me to remember that in the midst of this process and stuff. And but man, it's been a hard road trying to do it myself, because I've had to learn, and still, every now and then I'm hitting up Shinobi and I'm like, hey, like, how do I need to go about doing this or doing that? And he's like, his repeated words are, just write that shit out. I'm like, all right, let me get to doing that. So I've got my whole calendar that I've constantly, just about every other day, I'm writing something new that I've got to figure. I got to put together for vacation. I got to put together for work, or even how, like, we've got to work stuff out for podcast wise, where posting time and everything. So it's still a learning curve for me, but still seeing, like, everybody, older than me, like, hey, I'm still struggling with it too. I'm like, okay, I'm not sitting here by myself, like, giving myself a headache with it.
None of us have mastered that shit.
No. I would love to meet the person that has, though. Like, I'm see how they living, because that would be something new right there. But
I got like 3 forms. I got the business calendar, my personal calendar, my phone calendar. The phone calendar is a mix of all 3. It's like when I'm supposed to be at work, I'm like, I don't know. So I get it. It's a process, man. And he's right. Write it out. That's the only way for me too. I put it on paper. It seems to ingrain it in me a little better, right? I physically went through the process of doing it. Typing it in my phone, I'll forget. Physically writing something out, I feel more connected to it.
Yeah. No doubt.
Got it.
Feel the same.
Can definitely do that.
So yeah, I'm a big advocate of writing it out, man. And like we were just saying, get a few calendars. Like, you really have to get in a state of organization, man. You have to organize. That's a must. You gotta organize your shit, or you're gonna be all over the place. You're gonna be missing deadlines. You're gonna be doing this thing that's half done, then you're gonna jump into other things. So really minimize things. Give yourself realistic goals. Keyword is realistic, and just know that you can do it a bit at a time, It's like building a house brick by brick, you know?
Right. So big goal, and then broken down into little goals,
Mm-hmm.
and chip away at it, man. That's it. Get the hammer and go to work.
No doubt.
So we talk process wise. How long has Kings of Chaos been in business?
So initially, the conversation came in play in 2020.
Okay.
And we started working on it by the end of the year. We had the product built, the initial logos and stuff like that built, and then by the end of 2020 we took off. And we did pretty well. We mastered the local area. A lot of the local people know about us. They see our support. They support us, and it's been good. They know what it's about. What the community is accepting it.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, like I said, we've run into some roadblocks. Him and I. He's got personal things going on in his life. I got my own stuff going on. Wasn't meshing. So here we are. I'm restarting this process by myself now. So again, I've already had a running start. I've had to take 10 steps back. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And now, again, I'm rebuilding the blueprint. And it's okay to do that at any given time in your process, to rebuild the blueprint, because something may not have worked. But this is that thing I'm talking about. Don't give up because you hit a roadblock or you have to change direction. It's okay. Start fucking building a new path.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's nobody else's responsibility. I could easily give up on this. I could easily said, let's just shut it down. I'll move on to something else. No, I'm not that way. So I dug in on what I want, my vision, my goal. Now I'm adding to it, and I have a new vision. So this process is, like I said, we took off 2 years and, invested money and time, being out in the community, doing support for events, locally with the people. It took some work, but again, we had to take that step back, and now I'm starting on my own. So new path, new process.
Remember, renewal is not taking a step back.
Mm-hmm.
Renewal, you look at it as a fresh start. It's a fresh start. You can build from the ground up, make a nice foundation to build upon,
Correct.
Not taking a step back. So I want to talk a bit about the logo. What does this logo mean to you? Why is this logo chosen? Why do you choose to project this out to the world?
Just so we can see it.
Yeah, show the people.
So again, it's actually good that you brought that up, because it's in a circle, right? So the idea behind the circle is what? This is building a community, right? Community of people, a strong community, a place for you to come that's going to support you for anything you're trying to achieve in life. If you're having a bad time, you're coming into this community. We're going to help you find a path, find your chosen path. How you're going to get up, how you're going to start getting through the things that you're going through now. Because like I said, Kings of Chaos isn't about me and my chaos, it's about you and yours. How are you going to deal with it? The reason that I chose to do this is because I feel that from the things that I've been through in my life, the experiences I've had, I know you can do it. I know you can get up from loss, from trauma, from the devastation of depression and PTSD and drug abuse, all those things. I know you can, because I've been through most of it. I've been through hell, walked through hell, and came out on the other side. So the reason for the circle, I get it. The brass knuckles are a little bit aggressive, but that's the point. We're taking an aggressive attack on moving forward in your life, choosing to attack your chaos, win over it, be a king in that shit. So that's why I chose the circle. That's why we chose the name, why we chose to be a little more abrasive. And I'm not afraid to be abrasive. This world has been very softened, and we need to step the fuck up and show that we're still here and we're still going to push forward through all your crap, and we're not going to take the excuse to be on the softer side. Life's hard, man. And you got to get hard to do things sometimes.
Definitely. That was my question too about the logo, because I seen it and I was like, yo, I gotta ask about that, because that was the dopest thing I'd seen. I was like, oh, kind of jealous a little bit.
man, it's not branded to one style of person. You know what I'm saying? This is the whole idea is, like I said, you don't have to be a gym goer. You don't have to be in martial arts. I don't care what you do in life. If you're a construction worker, a lineman, a fireman, you work at the grocery store, I don't care. Your obstacles are yours. The idea is to dig deep, find the strength, the foundation, the discipline to do the things you need to do. Yeah. That's what this is all about.
And that's all walks of life.
All
walks of life have a little chaos in there.
100%. 100%. And that's the point. We're all facing the chaos. Your own.
And we don't have to face the chaos alone. That is the biggie.
Right.
Which is takes me to my next question. There's a reoccurring theme of community with you. Why do you feel so strongly about community and uniting together?
Well, I think that in this world today, you can see that there's a lot of separation in people. And it's not the doing of the people. So I won't get too deep into that. You can see they're trying to divide us.
No doubt.
Right?
Obvious.
We need to encompass that community again. We need to harness that. This goes back to the brotherhood stuff, right? Right? Finding those people, bringing them into your community, building your council, your alliances, your kingdom. It's not, your kingdom doesn't have to be by itself. You're a man of your own kingdom, right? And kings in alliance are stronger than a single man by himself.
Yes, sir.
Right? So we need to uplift one another. That's what this shit's about. That's what Kings of Chaos is about. It's uplifting people who think they cannot get up from their challenges. Bullshit, man. I've been knocked down, beat down, burned to death, and I still found a way to get up, achieve new goals, rebuild my life, and move forward on my visions. You can do that shit too. Let's go.
And through all that, you've chosen not to be beat down by that, but you've taken the opposite approach and have chosen to pour community and love and upliftment into people even after going through so much chaos in life, man. So that's even more commendable in my eyes.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
For sure. Let's talk about standards, personal standards. And this kind of all goes together. Tom and I, we talked very slightly about mediocrity and acceptance of mediocrity. I want to talk a little bit about raising standards for yourself. Because this is all, if you guys are really listening, all this shit comes back to you. How could people raise their standards to where they aren't just accepting being mediocre? They aren't just accepting to live someone else's path and, enrich someone else's vision while their vision falls by the wayside, How could they raise standards for themselves so they're not stuck in a position where, I look at it as like slavery. It's definitely mental slavery for sure, So how do you think people can break free from that and really forge their own path? One that they believe in so wholeheartedly that they won't be taken off that path, and they're willing to do the things that we talked about before, collect people along the way, grow stronger along the way, learn lessons, How do you think people could work that into their lives and not just settle? You know what I'm saying?
Everybody knows, like I was saying earlier, everybody knows who they are. And if you got, you know what you want in life, and anything comes about that doesn't align with what you want in life, is not, and it's not meant for you, and it's not meant for you. That you've set your standards. Everybody's gonna look at it as like, oh, you got these high, these high standards, these high expectations, but they're not at all for you. Like they're high standards because you know what you set for yourself. You know what you're capable of, Um, and you got to make believers out of everybody. Like I said earlier, like you got to make believers out of everybody. And if they don't see it, then go do it. And if
How
they,
about this? Just to interject it for a second. How about as far as standards of the world you create, like your own conduct, the people that you have around you? Because I know you guys have noticed throughout your life, your circle of people has fucking changed over time,
Yeah.
and that's because your standards have changed. You've let certain people go, you've allowed certain people in, So Smooth, touch on that a little bit.
Standards with like with who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
I'm still learning that myself. 'Cause I'm slowly cutting people out here and there. Just because, and I'm slowly bringing people in that are more wiser than I am. People that are been through, struggles that I've not per se been through, but struggles that I'm like, I there's no way I could go through it and come out the way you did. So seeing that insight, bringing those kind of people in, but the people that have cut out by the wayside, disagreements, of us not seeing where we want to be in life, seeing them settle for what they already have, and I'm like, I don't like where I'm at, so I want to I want better for myself. So not settling for that mediocrity there. Personally too, of I would definitely say, like, health wise and everything. I've had some people just be like, you're fine where you're at. You're doing, you're still breathing. There's people, in your stage that's not even able to get up and stuff. And I'm like, that's not my fault. Like, they could get up like I have every day and do better for themselves, eat better, work out and everything. So health wise for me, that's been a big thing for me. And hearing people say, you're okay. I'm like, I'm not, because I know where I want to be. I know where I should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't, there's nobody else. There's people that's going to help me along the way with it, but I've got to, like we've been talking, I've got to do that work to get there. So I've been setting those people that have just been like, okay, people, the yes men of the world.
Gotcha.
Those are the people that those are the people I consider mediocre, that you can't keep around you whatsoever. Because they're not going to do anything but pull you down. When they see you climbing and they see you doing great for yourself, they're going to be the ones pulling you down and throwing these obstacles and putting bad vibes out in everybody else's ear about you. And you can't have that. It growing as a person at all. So that's
Do you
what
find
I've
it
been.
difficult at all? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was about to say that's what I've been dealing and learning with myself, of acceptance and mediocre.
I was gonna ask, do you find it difficult at all to leave these people behind and allow other people to enter your life?
At one point, I would definitely say yeah. Just because there were at a time there were connections. We were friends on some base, and you don't want to let that go. But as a man, as a woman, as a young man, as a teen, whatever, as an elder, if it ain't meant for you, it ain't meant for you. Because you gotta steady. The world's constantly changing, and you've got to steady be better than you were, and you gotta be better than what this world is trying to put out for everybody else to be. So I mean, it was tough at one point, but as I am getting older now, it is starting to become easier. I would definitely say the people coming into the circle is a trial and error kind of thing, because I'm still trying to figure those people out too. But then you do get some people that are legit genuine from the start, and you can feel that energy, and you can feel you can feel their expectations because they voice it to you. So you're like, okay, I see where your mindset is. Your mentality is really strong, and you kind of gravitate towards that. You know what I mean? So those are the kind of people I've been pulling in slowly, like, and not trying to make it seem like, oh, I just want you around for this reason, this knowledge, or whatever. But you've got something I don't have, and I want to learn how to obtain that. So that's been a big thing for me with growth and letting people, making this new circle. So it's a learning curve. I would definitely say that for everybody. It's definitely a learning curve.
It's almost like you discover who needs to be around, not who you want around.
Yeah.
And it's going to come down to you to either let those people be in your space or not. You know what I'm saying?
And they like that whole saying of like, people are here for a season or something like that. Something like that. Like there's people that are meant for like a season and stuff. That is legit true. And then you got people that are around for a lifetime, and you appreciate those people a whole lot more than you think than you thought you would. Because those are the people that they don't want anything from you. And how we've been talking, community wise, and they want to help you build. They see the potential in you when you don't see the potential in you. So they're definitely. I'm definitely grateful for the circle I do have now. I would definitely say the circle I do have now has been tremendous, because I get texts every morning, of making sure I've got my focus straight, and make sure I got my ass up and getting to the gym when I need to get to the gym. Because there's days where, man, like I don't be feeling it, but I gotta go in there and go bust my ass, because gotta go in there and bust my ass and see I got a vision for myself, and there's only one or two people that know that vision, and they make sure I have a constant reminder of what I'm battling for, and so I don't lose sight myself at all. That's the one thing I can definitely say about my circle that I got is
that's some beautiful shit.
They hell bent on making sure I stay focused too. So sorry, I ain't mean to get too deep in that, but
that's all good. That's what we're here for.
That's how it was coming from the heart. That's what I was feeling. I was just like, man, like you gotta have, like we've been talking about the community, and it's huge, because I wanted to get to Tom on this one too, of like, and I didn't want to get too personal on it, but I did want to know, like, story wise, of what was it that, I guess, like, broke you down enough for you to realize, like, there was this community that was like, hey, we are here for you.
Oh, great question.
That's good. I like that question. There's a lot to that, man. A lot. My backstory is extended. There was a lot there, man. I suffered a lot of loss, a lot of personal struggle. Got sick at one point, life-threatening almost, and had to dig myself out by myself. I think the problem and the reason that I came to this point of community is because I saw that, one, I was able to dig myself out of this terrible place mentally and physically and put myself on the forefront. And I realized that what my job here is now is to create that community for other people, because I've been through hell.
Yeah.
I've seen shit. I've dealt with shit, things that most people may never be able to deal with in their life. But again, we'll talk about each individual's own chaos and their own trials and tribulations. I feel that my point now is to reach out and help these people. Tell them, hey, I've been there, done that. I know you can get through it. I'm here to help you get there. I'm here to give you some guidance to find your foundation, to dig deep and find your discipline and bury your excuses and attack your chaos on a daily basis and start winning. So that's kind of what happened to me, man. It's the full breakdown of my personal self and then being able to rebuild and realize that it's solely up to me. And this world has us in a position where we start talking about standards of comfortability. Being mediocre is okay because there's modern conveniences that keep us there. And I'm not for that. I'm not for that. And people will find every excuse, Netflix, video games, whatever, instead of focusing on taking care of the problem and getting to the goal. I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to meal prep. I don't have time to work on my business. Bullshit. It's a choice, and everything's a choice. And that's kind of what this community is about. It's giving you that hard truth. There's choices that need to be made, discipline that needs to be had. But I'm here to help you and tell you I've been there, done that. We can do this. You can do this. Because I don't want to be, patting you on the butt the whole way. I want to be able to show you, hey, it can be done. And I want you to stand up and fucking do it.
Yeah.
That's really where I want to get people. I want to build them up so they can continue to build forward without having to have their hand held.
Even let them fall a little bit so they know they can get up on their own.
You need to scrape your knee, man. Get up and go. So, that's kind of, like I said, my world broke down, dude, to nothing. Lost everything, lost my family, lost my home, lost my money. Went from, having everything to having nothing. Watching people that I love die. And then for me to get super sick, break down myself, and then have to rebuild myself mentally and physically and realize that it can be done. And it was my choice. I had to find discipline, dig deep, push myself past my limits. And then I realized, hey, this is where I need to be. I need to be able to reach out and help these people realize there's more to life than what they think there is.
When you were sick, how did you find that strength in the midst of sickness and being in that state? How did you find that strength to be like, you know what, I might be in this state right now, but I'm getting myself out of this. Like I'm getting through this and just being determined to get through it. That's
a good question. I found myself in a position telling myself I'm not going to let anything beat me. I'm not. I can overcome this. And there were days, trust me, where, I struggled with that idea that, this was going to be something that slowed me down, pushed me back. And I'd dig deep, find the strength and say, nope, not today. I'm going to get up and I'm going to push through this. I'm going to solve the problem. We're going to take care of the problem. Thankfully we did. And I'm going to keep pushing forward. Like I said, at one point, I was looking my physician in the face and he's like, I don't even know how you're functioning right now. And I said, I refuse to give up. I refuse to accept that what you're telling me is the way things are. And I believe that the mental strength that you apply and the mental fortitude that you have, your body is capable of many, many things. But the mental strength is going to get you past everything else. And you have to build both in order to get where you want to go. And like I said, in my chaos, I had to be mentally stronger. And I had to dig deep and get through that stuff. And it sucked, man, because I felt weak, physically weak. And that's not a really good feeling,
Especially guys like us that are active and bro, that it hits us harder being in that type of state,
Definitely.
All right. So I want to kind of jump into a new subject, everyone. Now, Mr. Smooth, I thought this would be very beneficial for you. It's going to be beneficial for all of us. But Mr. Smooth is kind of on a a new fitness journey, I guess I should say. So I want to talk about a little bit of your relationship with fitness. As a kid, were you athletic? Were you very highly energetic as a kid running around, or is that something that came later on in life?
For me, no, I was the one that was always into something.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping track of me was probably the issue.
Yeah.
If I recall, my mom was like, I could never find you. You were always somewhere. Remember too, we grew up, in a generation where we didn't have video games. I was outside day and night. You had to collect me off the streets.
Yes.
At night.
Yes.
So very physical, athlete my whole life. But I will say this, at about 11 to 13, 14, I struggled with being a little overweight, not in the best physical condition. And
bro, I never would have thought that.
Yeah.
I never would have thought.
It was a challenge, man. I didn't like it. I didn't feel comfortable even at that age. And I think the deeper I dove into being an athlete, being put on the football field, the baseball field, and the hockey, at that point I was doing anything and everything I could get my hands on. So I enjoyed that part of it. But I also will go back to that community part. When you play and you're in sports, especially football and hockey, you're building a community with these guys, right? So I enjoyed that camaraderie, that team aspect.
Yes.
So yeah, it drove me into the fitness world. So for a very long time, I've been in it.
Gotcha. Now, when did you take like a turn? Because me and Mrs. Smooth, we had an episode where we followed our fitness journeys up until this point. Like, when I was younger in high school, it was all about weightlifting, squatting and benching. That's all I knew. And then, as I went on my journey, I started getting into more things like, okay, I want to be flexible, so let me do some yoga. You know what I'm saying? I want actual body weight strength, so let me start getting into calisthenics or gymnastics. So it's kind of grown from there. Can you kind of take us through that process for you? Was it kind of similar as going back? Well, let's go back to high school. Going back there, is it kind of similar, starting off with weights and then from there it's just kind of having an evolution?
Yeah, I would say that's probably the majority of how we get locked into that right off the bat. We're athletes. They want us to train like athletes. So, we're in the weight room, just as much as we're on the field, for strength and conditioning training. Depending on the sport that you play, obviously there's more conditioning involved. So definitely started with it there. After I left high school and went to my first couple of years of college, it kind of turned into, I'd go to the gym every once in a while. Wasn't as actively involved as I was prior to that. I think around about 25 or so, I dove into enjoying the process of working out. It became a staple in my life. Without it, my day felt like I had missed something.
Oh yeah.
So I was losing this achievement. So then I would feel like crap. So then I was realizing how important this piece was to my puzzle. Right. So then it also helped me to realize, okay, when I'm training and I'm on point and I'm dedicated to eating right, training and making sure I'm disciplined to doing that stuff, that discipline transferred to other things in my life. Right. To whatever I was doing for work, whatever personal achievements I was after, all those things translated. I dove into the fitness world heavily just because I enjoy the hell out of it. So I went on, a little more into the bodybuilding stuff.
You did that?
Right. Not so much on a stage, but more or less the lifestyle.
Gotcha.
Right. But
and that's eating and everything.
Right. The way I eat, the way I train, stuff like that. But, when I hit about 30 and I got into the fire department, I realized how important it was for me to continuously train like an athlete. That meant being able to manipulate my body weight, having good cardiovascular and endurance strength, because, a lot of what we do is in bursts.
Yeah.
3 to 5 minute bursts and then a break. 3 to 5 minute bursts and then a break. So having conditioned myself that way through my training has been massive. So that's kind of been my path, and I've been dedicated to that. But again, being that fitness overall has built that disciplinary staple in my day, every single day, that has related to my other achievements because that discipline transfers. Because it sucks. There's days I don't want to go. Just like we talked about earlier, I don't want to go. I don't want to get up. I don't want to get up at 5 a.m. and go before work, but I do. I say, fuck it. I get up, I crawl my ass out of bed, I put my shoes on, I get my bag packed, and I go. And then I get there, I blast through my workout. My day has started. I've achieved my first win of the day, and it was hell. And now it's on. Everything's easy from there.
It really is.
Right.
That's a big thing I realized because I was always like, until I probably got into my 30s, I was probably like a person that worked out in the evening, not really mornings.
Yeah.
But now I really discovered it with going to like the gym in the mornings. Like he said, dude, you feel like your day is just right. Like from then on, like you get that out of the way early and you feel like you can take on pretty much anything for that day, man. You just release everything, get the body warm and moving. And it definitely helps you throughout the day for sure, man.
Mind's focused. Now we're ready to go.
Yeah. Not last week, 2 weeks ago, I started seeing a nutritionist. And we started talking more of carb intake instead of calorie intake. So I've been having to watch that a whole lot more. Has it been for you, like eating wise? Is there a difference you're eating wise when you work out in the morning versus when you were working out like evening time, afternoon? Is there a difference? Is your body more? Because I know your body's got to be like starving at some point in between those meal times and everything. So
right. And I mean, for me in the mornings, it's like this. I get up, I train empty stomach. The reason I do that is because the duration of time, by the time I get up and time I get to the gym, I don't want to be, transferring blood to my gut to digest. I want my blood flow to be throughout and nutrient transport to be throughout, so I'm not inhibiting my workout. In the evenings, the key for me is, so my diet, my intake usually stays about the same. The difference is that from morning to night is that I'm fully loaded with nutrition and I'm not lacking anything by the evening. So for me, if I'm going to train in the evening, I'm going to train on something that's going to be heavy, something that's going to be hard, big muscle groups, because I've definitely put in enough calories and food for the day. I got plenty of energy, plenty of fuel, and plenty of glucose to burn off. So I'm going to power through this. But in the morning, I usually try to do smaller muscle groups, more cardiovascular stuff, more high intensity training in the mornings. And then, in my evenings, I definitely, go to the heavier groupings.
Got it. That's my journey too in the gym now. I'm so used to powerlifting. So, and then I used to, powerlifting, and then used to P90X, was doing Insanity, all that through college. And then after college, it was, okay, now I'm starting to lose my muscle mass and everything. And my cardio was still good, but where I am now, I've got to work it back up to where it used to be.
Correct.
So that's I think my big challenge now is forgetting the bulk it to, working out wise, bulking wise. It's forgetting how to do that and more of, let me tone what I already have and let me work on my heart rate. Let me work on my breathing and everything, how to stretch out and everything like that. That is my new challenge. So that's what I'm trying to get into, of getting back to being flexible again. That's my biggest thing, because I'm so tight, like hip wise. I'm so tight in my back and everything. Because I tell people, like, everybody's asking me, like, how you doing and stuff, how's the gym been? And I'm like, man, I'm getting old. I can feel my bones cracking and stuff in there. so but it's new stuff to me. And now, like, my process wise of in the gym and how consistent I've been here lately is, I can definitely I'm starting to feel that difference of where I was flexible wise, because now I'm able to go like hands straight flat to the ground. You used to straight to the hands used to be to the knees and stretching, and so I'm seeing those small little victories and stuff in there. What I guess for from your point of view, if you were coaching somebody in the gym, you're training somebody in the gym, what would be some good like cardio stuff to work out with, light stuff to work out with, stretch wise, cardio wise, before they start getting into like toning in that sense, you know what I mean?
So this topic, man, we could be here all day with me. I'll go on a rampage. So for you, you're a big guy. So number one, you have to understand the more muscle that you're exerting anaerobic energy on, you're actually burning more calories than you are if you're doing cardio. So this topic is very touchy. So everybody was like, I'm going to go do cardio. I'm going to shed weight. I'm like, okay, pump the brakes. As you start doing cardio, you're breaking down the majority of your tissue, which is muscle tissue anyway. So realistically, you need to be weight training first and then doing your cardio as your finisher. And your cardio should be, steady state, 20 minutes at a time, or your training, with what I mean with weight training, should be interval type training. Okay. So I don't know where you're training at, but for instance, if I'm going to do some interval stuff, I'm going to do some pull-ups, hit the ground, do push-ups, then I'm going to push the sled. And that's a triplex. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do that circuit 3 or 4 times. It seems a little CrossFit, but it's really not. It's interval training. It's more military based, more what we do. And I incorporate those things in my training for that exact reason. I want to continue to be an athlete. So I continue to push those elements. But for you, cardiovascular, it should be at the end of your training. Okay. And you should always, if you're going to work on flexibility, make sure that you have warmed up your body. Don't go into to stretching cold. You're going to end up, you'll actually end up injuring yourself or lengthening the muscle and the tendon, and you're going to lose strength. Okay. So one thing I can say to you is you need to continue to work on strength training and muscle building in order to reduce the calorie or burn more calories and reduce the body fat. That's what the goal sounds like it is to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I went from 380 down to 300 last year. I just got into like this, like, it was a good thing, but it was bad. Cause how it happened was I was steady in the gym. And I got down to 350, and then I got kind of like in a depressive state, where I wasn't communicative with a lot of people.
Where'd that come from? Not getting the results you wanted?
Yeah, because I wasn't seeing it at all, and everybody, like, some people were like, "Oh, I could see it in your face and everything," but I couldn't see it, and that was a hard thing for me to learn. So I got into that depressive state, and I wasn't eating, as I should, and my intake just wasn't what it was. Like I was drinking water, I was drinking sodas and stuff, but I wasn't taking in the food like I should have been. So I got down to 300, and then up to now, I've gotten back up to 350. But it's been like a healthy, not healthy 350. Like it's not a 350 that looks good. You know what I mean? So that's now like how my journey started on it. Like I'm like, okay, my goal weight goal wise is to be a healthy, like 260, 270, without looking sick. Because I got at one point, like, I wanted to be at 250, and I was like, I'm gonna look really like somebody's gonna be like, here's some bread, like, go eat.
Yeah, because you can't tell, but this motherfucker's big.
Yeah, he's a big.
He's
I can
big
tell
and
Yeah.
he's tall.
I figured as much
Yeah.
when you start talking weight. He's big.
So I that's my thing now is being able to feel good in my clothing again and just feel good, you know, health wise and everything. Uh, but that's the one thing in the gym I was doing. I was starting my cardio out first so I could have a warm the body up, everything like that, and getting it like that. Um, and then going into my stretching and stuff. But I guess now I got to revamp my workouts and
Right.
stuff now. So cardio at
Change.
the end and get some not high intensity. I guess it'd be like a little low intensity kind of stuff then.
Yeah, I mean, so with the give you a path at least for your training ideals. So go in the beginning, and what I always do is I always do some band work. Because at this
Okay.
age, just kind of what we need to
Bro,
do.
that's what I start with
Yeah.
every time.
Right. I start warming my body up with some band work. I
Mhm.
do some, body weight movements, push-ups, pull-ups, whatever, and then I'll start going into my movements that I
Mhm.
plan on doing, and I take it slow. I do one or two sets that really get the blood pumping and flowing, making sure the blood's in the ligaments and tendons, and then I start pushing myself.
Okay.
And then when you're done there, do your cardio, and then finish with your stretching. So that way, at the time when you go do your stretching, you're removing toxins, you're helping the
Yeah.
blood flow into the areas that need recovery and stuff like that. And then make sure that you're eating after you train.
Okay.
So I don't know your timing on your food. I'm going to tell you right now, that critical thing for a lot of people is how they move their food through their day.
So
Mhm.
tell me this, what is critical to eat? What are some examples? What's critical to eat after a workout?
Well, for him, understand something. The only time you should ever have simple sugars is post-workout.
Yeah.
Because you've already depleted your body of glycogen during your workout.
Mhm.
And that simple sugar mixed with your protein is going to saturate the body, because it's going to absorb all that sugar, and that sugar is going to drive that protein into the muscle tissue, and it's going to speed up the process of recovery. So that's your immediate post-workout. And I don't know who's going through your nutritional protocol right now, but I push that with everybody.
Yeah.
Post-workout is critical. Everything else that we do is based on, throughout your day, is based on what your goal is. But that post-workout meal is critical. You need to start the recovery
Definitely.
process, and that glycogen, that simple sugars, that's the only time you should really have it in your diet.
Okay.
Mr. Smooth, I want to
I can do
ask
that.
you, what's been your relationship with food over the years? Has it been kind of a live to eat or eat to live kind of thing for you?
A live to eat or eat to live. Um. Well,
Stepped on some toes, man.
past I would say when I dropped that major weight,
Mm-hmm.
at the time it was just eating to just eat, you know.
Mm-hmm.
When I was starving or when I felt weak or whatnot like that, I was just like, okay, I gotta put something in my body because my body's depleted what I already had. But I guess it was just, it was sitting because it just wasn't getting burned either. So, so I got back up to where I was. But now, since the nutritionist and talking with them on that, um, watching, I guess, my carbs of what I've intake, because we've kind of talked on 40 grams to 65 grams of carbs, just about each meal. For me to drop weight. So I was like, well, okay, but to like working on that has been a little off. Because to me it feels like it's only uh, like I'll say like half a sandwich basically. So like me and turkey, like a slice of bread and turkey is literally like what I've been kind of like put on, but I don't feel, I wouldn't say satisfied, is more of like as soon as I put it in, it's like vanished already. So it's like it has never like touched the stomach, has never like filled, I guess, what I need to.
You feel like you said, you're unsatisfied.
Yeah.
You're not reaching that point of satiation.
Yeah. So I'm like, and I'm kind of tweaking everything. Refrigerator's been cleaned out, so I've I've incorporated new stuff in there. I've gotten some yogurt, gotten some granola. Fruit has been a love and a hate of mine because there's certain fruits that I'm not too big on. But revamping what fruits I do intake, veggies wise, has been a big one. Because there's some stuff that I was just like, I ain't ever putting that in my mouth at all. Like that, this is just not look good. So, but training my mind to be like, you know what, like this is gonna be good for me. So let's give this a try. So new veggies have been put in. Like I said, fruits wise, and fruits used to be just all the acidic stuff. So heavy on eating pineapples, heavy on oranges and stuff like that. I'm okay on apples and stuff, but not as big. Blueberries I've started, working with, and those are one fruit that I was just like, there ain't no way I'm ever eating those. Blackberries, raspberries. What else?
Sounds like a lot of mentality behind it, like your whole mentality and your thoughts about food and what it's doing for you, is changing.
Mm-hmm. So it's a learning curve, which is why, like, when we talk, I'm always like, hey, like, what is this gonna be good for? What is this, gonna work out, best for me? And Shinobi will tell you every time, like, we talk, I'm like, somebody that's kind of like that's in this field that knows about this and stuff too. So I'm always trying to figure out who he knows, because I'm like, they'll know something else that he's learning that I've got to learn. So
right,
it works out.
Then they end up here.
And they end up here. So it works out. It works out really good. And I know, like, I'm getting ready to be on vacation. I'm not even gonna call it a vacation. Like, it's a business vacation, basically, coming down that way. But I know usually every time I come down, like, we try something new out eating wise, and I'm like, I ain't ever ate this before, and I'm hesitant on it, but
I got some things.
It's something new. So it's a learning curve for sure. And then trying to get the big part. This is huge, and I for myself and for everybody else kind of struggling with it, is the people that you're surrounded with, like, their eating habits and stuff too play a big factor. Because some people don't want to. Some people are like, oh, I'm gonna eat this and this is healthy for me, but then they like overload with everything that's your body shouldn't even be touching. So trying to get those people around me too to getting a healthier eating habit and a healthier mindset too has been huge. So that's another thing of that circle of of getting those kind of people around me, and then trying to steer clear from from all the heavy stuff. So right now it's been like tuna and turkey. I'm slowly. I don't know how you've done it, but slowly I'm getting on this mindset of like, let me steer more clear towards this like vegetation style and see how this goes.
That's what it is, man. Experimentation. Because I wanted to ask Tom the same question, because I feel like I'm constantly on this new food journey, trying to figure out what I need, and it's still an ongoing process, and I'm still experimenting with things. I'm still finding out more about what foods are actually doing when they actually enter my body, So It's a hell of a process, man.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that.
That's foods. The stuff we eat is tough. It really is. There's so much to that element, and it goes even back to the processing of the food that before it even gets to our table. So my biggest thing is making sure that you have the right amounts of protein in your diet. Carbohydrates are extremely important for a lot of functions, as far as brain function, cardiovascular function, organ function, and so forth. The right types are very important, and we definitely need good fats. Without them, you're going to have a breakdown somewhere. We can sit here and talk about red meat. Red meat is something that you're going to get nutrients and minerals from red meat that you cannot get anywhere else. And then you would have to supplement so much outside of that in order to replenish the body. Being smart about your choice of cuts of red meat, being on the leaner side is the better option. I would definitely not eliminate it from your diet, but I would definitely moderate it. It's definitely something needed. Same with eggs. Eggs are important, needed. You can't get certain things from the yolk that you can't get anywhere else. So again, that's on a protein and a fat side. Both of them having good fats that you do need. When it comes into greens, greens are touchy. Everybody's reacts a little bit different, because if you realize, you're eating, plants are alive when you before they're processed, and they have certain defense mechanisms in them, and some of us don't respond well to them. That means that when I eat them, it goes in my gut and it causes havoc. So learning what types of food I respond better to, that's a process. So you're going through a process right now. One, finding things that you like, and two, finding things that are going to help you achieve your goal without the misery or the issues, because a lot of times food can be your enemy too. It can cause you to stray off the path of result because it's not settling well with your body. Your body's not processing it correctly. So that is a process of elimination thing. So start small, start clean, and work through and see, if you're feeling something, you got to try to figure out what to eliminate that's bothering you. Right?
That's where I feel like I'm at now. Like right now, I find myself eliminating more and more things and figuring out what I want to put in its place, I guess I could say.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's trial and tribulation. Again, where you are right now, Smooth, is you're talking to a nutritionist. I don't know if they're dictating your calories, how much protein, fats, and carbs you should be taking in per day. It sounds like they're giving you food options for what you should be putting in place, which is good. Based on the size of a person that you are, there's certain things that need to be met, because we can't cut your calories from maintenance down to half and expect you to survive on that. You're going to be low energy. You're going to feel piss poor. Your performance in the gym is going to be garbage. Your performance throughout the day is going to be garbage. That is a process that you have to chip away. Like I said, one win at a time, reset the goal, continue the process. So definitely. I'd be glad to help you, man, any way I can.
Oh, yeah. I'll be there Friday.
All right.
No doubt.
Yeah, man, we can talk all day about this, man. Whatever. Any way I can help you out, man.
I appreciate it.
Keep you around and healthy, baby. See? Going back to community.
Exactly.
Got a
I think that is I think that's the highlight of this episode is community.
Oh, yeah.
Community, whether it's big or small,
that's it, man.
Still community, man.
Yep, building our community, man. That's what the whole thing is. Like I said, you hit a good point about having allies, right? Speaking on your kingdom. It's still your kingdom, still my kingdom, but we're a community. And we're a lot stronger together than we are alone, man.
No doubt.
Definitely.
You can't really say that enough. That we're stronger together, I can't stress that enough, bro.
My last question for you, and I have got to ask everybody, because everybody's is different. Your Mount Rushmore of influences. Who are those people that have played like a big part, dead or alive? It ain't even got to be one, whatever, dead or alive. Who's had some kind of influence in your life of where you are now?
Oof, man, I'm gonna go first ones first, man. I'm gonna back up to my mom,
Yeah.
right? Because she was a human being that gave everything for her family, worked her ass off to achieve things. And that's really where this started for me. Watching her as a single mother, raising 3 kids, working 2 jobs, getting an education, and then in tragedy, watching her fight cancer, beat it, and then be taken by it shortly after.
Yeah.
So for me, that was my best friend and my mother stripped from me, watching her in her last moments cry for regret that not achieving the things and doing the things she wanted in her life, because she sacrificed so much for everybody else, and she felt that she got cheated in the end. And I feel she did too. But that was an eye opener for me. Like, yo, I'm not going to fucking let this be my position. But I did take everything from her work ethic. Yeah. Because I know, she molded me into the person I am today. That drive, that never give up attitude, that willingness to put forth the effort and be there for people, community, family. That's been instilled by her for sure. 100%. Other people that have, kind of poked on where I want to go as far as achievement and goals and stuff like that. You may not know these guys, Andy Frisilo and Seth Feroci.
Not familiar.
They're in the fitness industry as well, but their outlook on life is pretty similar to mine. And I feel like where we're all going is down that path, the path of rebuilding masculinity, number one. Stop with the sissification of the world.
Yes.
Get your ass up and do the work. The discipline is necessary. Stop making excuses. If you want something, your ass has to work for it. Nobody's going to hand it to you. Nobody's going to do it for you. Only you can. It's your choice. It's always your choice, whether or not you move forward or not. So they have played that part, but I will say probably my mom is definitely the Mount Rushmore for me.
Perfect. I like that. One face on it. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
All right, baby. I think it's good to end on that note. We got plenty more we could discuss for 12 more hours.
I'm sure.
But
keep that for another time.
But yeah, man, like I was telling Tom earlier, man, this is gonna leave room for more episodes, and just a continuance of this thing, man. I'm happy you came here, man. I'm happy you graced the SHINOBI SHINOBI podcast.
Privileged to be here, man. Honored.
Yeah, man. We thank you for coming through.
Smooth, nice to meet you, big guy.
You too, Tom. You too. Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Smooth, any last words for the people on this wonderful episode of the SHINOBI podcast with special guests?
Y'all heard Tom. Get your ass up and work. It's time to go.
Stop talking, start working.
Simple, baby. Simple.
Yeah. You gotta check who's in your circle. That community is huge, like we've been saying, man. It's important to know who's around you. Know who's got your back at all times. So you get down in the slumps a little bit, you got somebody that's gonna, help you get up so you can keep on pushing forward. That's all it is.
All right, baby. All right, Tom, close it out, man. Express yourself.
All right, everybody. I want to say thank you for having me, number one, and hanging in and listening. Listen, again, this boils down to a couple things. Life is hard. We're all struggling, but let's get to the community part of things. Let's get up and do the damn work.
Yes.
Again, I'll say it again. This is going to be my mantra for good right now. Stop talking, start working. Let's get it done.
Sir.
It's up to you. It's your choice.
All right, baby. You heard the man, so I don't even need to say much. But remember to check out Kings of Chaos. Yes. Wherever I choose to edit this, you'll see it. But yeah, check out Kings of Chaos. Check out Mr. Smooth's page. Check out the Shinobi podcast page. And we want you guys to get more involved, man. We want you guys to communicate with us. Going back to community. Let's keep growing this community. This community is growing, man. You don't want to get left behind, do you? You don't want to get left behind. We ascending upwards, man. So yeah, man, I want to thank both of you guys for being here. I really appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir.
Got much love for you. And man, I'm just thankful, man. Going back to gratitude we were talking about earlier. I'm just happy that this keeps happening, and I feel like we're really doing something, man. Like we're really doing something important, and we're saying a lot that needs to be said. We're doing a lot that needs to be done. So we're not just talking, but we're taking action. So remember, it takes action, man. It can't just be up in here. It can't just be coming out of here. You got to put your feet on the ground and get it done. All right? So much love to everybody. Thank you guys for joining us once again. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.
Peace.